That's ridiculous. I mean, I'll just say it. The fact that that's the reason is because he's like a character in the video game. It triples in price. That's just stupid. Okay, next. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller. Today is episode 86 of the new Coffee and Comics show. As you guys can see, I'm not alone. I have my good friend Bob here with me. Bob, how are you today?
I'm doing okay, my friend.
Yeah?
We're on our 86th episode. We're on the way to number 100.
We are on our way to 100.
That's amazing.
You're looking awfully spry today.
Why,
Looking
thank
good.
you. I appreciate that.
Very much so. Awesome. But we always start off with the coffee that we're drinking today, and we're just going with our own coffee.
Yeah.
This is just my in-house coffee here. This is the beans that are actually provided by Mocha Express, the official coffee shop of Comics with Bueller. So it's just regular black coffee this morning.
Nice.
Or this afternoon. We tape this on a Sunday. So.
Right.
But let me take a sip of mine. Mm-hmm. And it's cold.
Nice.
But, what are you going to do? What about you? What do you have?
Well, mine's cold too because this is some of my homemade cold brew.
Nice.
I forget which beans they're made from, but it's awful tasty, and I got some sugar-free hazelnut sweetener inside of it, and it's awful good.
Tasty and good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a double trouble right there.
Tasty.
Can I have that mug?
No, that's my wife's.
I know. Last time you were like, give it back. I drank everything right then and there, so you can just take it with you.
You could have given it back to me the next week.
No, I don't want to mess around with that stuff. Anyway, we got a great topic this week. This topic was, what are the best comics to invest in? And there was a lot of comments. We will leave a timestamp if you want to jump right to the conversation. You can do so, or if you'd like to hang around and get to know us a little bit, go ahead and do that as well.
Yeah.
First things first, I want to say thank you to our Patreon members. We actually have some new members that joined this past week. We have Bearded Comic Bro, thank you very much. Jesus, Ramon, thank you. And Rickenstein, thank you as well. So some new members, we're going to add them to the names of the little video at the end of this video. It's kind of a little clip I made, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But if you want to join our Patreon, the price is $3.99 a month, the price of one comic book a month. It definitely does help us out quite a bit. And you know what? For everyone who's joined in the past, thank you. And everyone who might have dropped off, you know what? Thank you as well. Anything helps, and it's greatly appreciated. The next thing I want to cover really quick is last week we launched a campaign for Hero and the Kid to get them to 1,000 subscribers. They picked up about 300 subscribers in like 1 week. So they are about 900 subscribers right now. They're only 100 subscribers away, or less, maybe at this time, I don't know, from hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark. So do me a favor, if you haven't checked out Hero and the Kid yet, we're still going to promote them. We're still going to try to get them to that 1,000, probably by the end of this week, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And just go check out their channel. We'll put a link down below, and also they're featured on the Comics with Bueller homepage. So you can just go ahead and check that out.
Yeah.
Another thing really quick, I want to tell everyone, I do have some Bueller boxes available right now, but they're different. They are my independent Bueller boxes. And I put these out a long time ago, and they sold out really fast. And I have 12 boxes available right now. When I say independent, it's all independent titles. So there's 11 books in every box, all independents, guaranteed 2 #1 issues of independent books, so you can start reading a new story. But Bob and I are big fans of independent books.
Yeah.
I don't put these boxes together very often just because it's hard to put together independent boxes, but I do have some available right now. I'll put a link down below if you want to get these Bueller independent boxes featuring Image and Boom and you name it. There's a ton of stuff in there.
That's awesome.
I think you're going to enjoy it. I know I do. So there you go. Available right now. Go get a Bueller box. $14 plus ship. It's cheap.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our first 5. And you were up first this week.
I'm up first. My first book is already up there, which is Spider-Man 333, and I figured I'd show some Venom covers this week. This is Venom 160. Like that one. This is Marvel Comics Presents number 119, and we got some Wolverine and Venom action there. And then War of the Realms number 13. We got Venom with the huge sword right there. And what the heck, since the Black King has been announced, I figured I'd show a picture or a cover with Null on it. That's Silver Surfer Black number 5. There's my first 5.
That's Null?
That's Null.
All right.
Right there. That's
I
Null,
guess
right?
it is. I don't know. I haven't paid a tremendous amount of attention to it, to be totally honest.
Oh, okay.
I know there's a lot of talk about it,
Yeah,
but it's above my head right now.
There you go.
My first book from my first 5 is Deceased Dead Planet #1. This is actually one of my books I got this past week. I read that. That was awesome. Oblivion Song #25, another one of my favorite series right there. That's an oversized book. It has an additional story in it as well, so it's all totally separate, like a different character actually. Nothing to do with Oblivion Song. Next one is X-Men God Loves Man Kills #1. This is a 2-issue miniseries from an old graphic novel from 1982. They brought it back and they put some extra stuff in it. And then I have some really great covers I've had for a while and just want to show them again. Amazing Spider-Man #10. This is the Perillo cover.
Nice.
Look at that. I know Bob likes this type of stuff.
I do.
Yeah. And then Thanos Legacy #1, the variant cover. I don't know exactly who the artist is on that one.
But that was one of the better covers from that series.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't like that series.
I
really.
didn't either.
Yeah, but those are my first 5, and some nice, like I said, the nice variants that Bob likes so much. So
I do.
check them out. So. But I thought I'd show them off this time, and have some nice books up there to make you all jealous.
It's a great first 5.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're done with our first 5, so let's go ahead and go to our friend Robbie because we have Robbie's pick of the week.
Oh, hey everybody, I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups from Pop Culture Philosophers. Hope you're enjoying the show, hope you're enjoying your coffee, and my pick of the week is...
Alienated #4 is Robbie's pick of the week. This has actually been a series I've really enjoyed. To be totally honest, I have not read this issue yet, but Bob, you did. What did you think?
Absolutely amazing. The last issue #3, dealt with some very heartfelt issues with one of the characters, and it got gritty, it got raw, it took you into their past, and the way it was written was so well done, and I really thought there's no way they could top this.
Yeah.
This issue, they topped it hugely.
Really?
I mean, it was so well done. It deals with suicide, it deals with that understanding that hurt people.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of parts that really choked me up.
Wow.
And I was really amazed at how well it was written. The book has been amazing from the very beginning, and it just keeps, I'll repeat what Robbie said, it just keeps raising the bar.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was, I haven't read the rest of my comics this week, but I read this one, and if you're not reading this book, you're really missing out on something special, because it's really good.
Is this a limited series? Do you know?
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is. I think it's only limited to either 5 or 6.
Interesting.
I really would hope it's an ongoing series, because it's amazing.
Well, it's a great book by Boom Studios, and I'm going to have to do a little segue here, because Boom Studios, who's been putting out just some great stuff, they sent me an advanced copy of Secret 7, issue #1 and 2. I read both issues, really enjoyed them. The artwork is kind of a cross between traditional comics and anime style, so I kind of liked it. It popped really good. And the story is... I don't want to spoil too much because it's somewhat new and everything, and nobody really knows too much about it. But it is almost like a revenge tale, and the first 2 issues are narrated by the main character, and he says something at the very end of the second issue that's very like, "Whoa, wait a minute, you didn't realize that." But it's a fantasy world, There's some violence and stuff. I think it's going to be another big hit from Boom Studios. I think today is like the final order cutoff day for shops, so if you're interested in this book whatsoever, take the information I just provided, do a little bit of research, go check it out, and you might want to let your comic shop know that you want to give this first issue a shot. I don't know if you're looking forward to that.
I already have it on my pull list.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
It's written by Taylor. Tom Taylor.
Which is one of my favorite writers right now. Yeah.
So, very cool book. I was pretty surprised to see it. Check my emails, like, oh, what's that?
There you go.
Always a nice day when there's something sitting there waiting for you.
For sure.
Very cool. So thank you, Boom, for that. You know what? I really enjoyed reading those 2 books and looking forward to the rest of the series.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and jump into our topic of the week. And our topic of the week was, what are the best comics to invest in? Mm-hmm. And we asked, is it independent books? Is it #1s? What decade? Whole bunch of different things. And there's a reason why I'm asking this question. Lately I've been doing these videos called Did These Comics Hold Their Value? Mm-hmm. And I've been focusing on variants for one video, and then I focused on first appearances on a second video. And those books are actually were on like the websites of CBSI and the top 10 list at the time 2 years ago, and we're just checking to see if the values have gone up here in 2 years. And so that's kind of what brought this question to light, and we wanted to hear what people had to say. And Bob, you were up first. Actually, no, I'm up first.
Wow.
And it's a long one.
Go figure.
This one is from Jeff Pearl Jam, 1976. Says, to me, it seems like indies are the books to invest in. They seem to be optioned more frequently. I want to hit this one really. It's a short comment, but I like it. The next one's long. Mm-hmm. But the reason I like this one is because, for one, I'm a big fan of independent books, more so than I've ever been before. And when it comes to investing in independent books, it's $3 or $4 cover price, number one issue, and it's just the number one issue that you need to get.
Exactly. And when you talk about investing,
yes,
right.
Yes, that's the easiest thing to do as far as like to invest in a book that has the potential to get optioned. Okay, it's never any of the other issues. It's just the number one.
Yeah.
It's just the number one, except for maybe a couple here. Walking Dead is an exception.
But that's an ongoing series.
Yeah, that was an ongoing series for a long time. But for the most part, it's just if you can get that number one issue of a new independent book, if that book does get optioned like he said, that's the one to have. And that's the only one you need to get.
Absolutely.
And it's simple.
Yeah, simple, very simple. I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, a lot of people, if they're looking at, what's going to hold their value, what's not, when it comes to the independent titles, it's always the number one issue, except for some variant covers that come out, and usually that'll be on a second print or something like that, or a special cover.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that very first issue, and you'll see those ones slabbed and none of the others.
Yeah. Oblivion Song got some talk, about that series, and number one popped in price. Number two's in the dollar bin.
In the dollar bin.
And all the other ones are in the dollar bin.
Right.
Same thing for Ice Cream Man. They're a little harder to get, but for the most part, Ice Cream Man, number one, that's the one to get.
That's the one to get, even though every single issue is amazing.
Yeah, every issue is great, but you can pretty much pick them up for cover price when you find them. Yeah. So it's always that number one issue to get. And I like getting those because it's a brand new story. So even if it doesn't pay off, if there's no option attached to that or whatnot, I just read a brand new book,
right?
And something new and exciting to learn and stuff. And whether it's a good title or a bad title, I always like giving it a shot. So
sure.
I like that. I like what he said about independent books, and it's probably the easiest thing to invest in right now. It's just
absolutely
buying an independent first issue that comes out, putting it on your pull list, and getting it, and you're good to go.
Absolutely.
6 months later, option. Woo!
Well, you mentioned Boom Studios earlier, and they just got optioned by Netflix for their whole library. So anything that comes out by Boom Studios is possibly going to be Netflix fodder. So
there you go, stoking the fire.
There you go.
Okay, Bob, you're up next with the next kind of nice long one for you. Because last week I had the long comment.
Well, this is, compared to a normal long, this is.
That's true. That's true.
So this one comes from Josh Gilfillan. I think that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I butchered your name.
Close enough.
But he said, honestly, Bueller, I've never liked the word investment when it comes to talking about comics. I've always bought comics for the stories and artwork and never their investment values. I've never cared about that side of it. Furthermore, I've always told my daughter that if anything should happen to me, that my comics would go to her and for her to do with them whatever she wanted. If they would make her enough money to buy something nice for herself, by all means sell them. If not, give them to someone who will appreciate them. It just seems like you're taking away from the purity of comic book collecting if you're only doing it for the money. You should collect what you love and enjoy, not what a book site says it will or worth be a lot of money. Good question.
Great question.
Great question. Sorry.
You know what? I kind of go back and forth, and right now in my collecting journey, I don't see comics as good investments. And I actually, I think I've said that before. I think it's if someone were to come to you today and say, "Hey, what's a great thing to invest in?" Comics are not exactly the best thing to purely just invest in to make money down the road. Right. There's a lot of other things you can invest in that will make you money faster. They might not be as fun. That's the difference. Collecting comics is fun. I enjoy it. That's the difference in collecting comics. Okay?
Sure.
there's not a lot of joy sitting in a stock market. I'm picking that stock and just see what happens. There's a little bit of nostalgia to comics and fun reading and all that stuff. So as far as investment goes, right now I can't stand it. To be totally honest, I mean I hear everything. I hear, got to get this book. It's going to be worth money. And I ask myself, do they actually want that book in their collection? If it wasn't even a book that they've never read any other issues, they don't have any other ones, but yet they want to get that one because it might be worth money, and I'm like, do you really want it? Do you need it? No. I'm like, well, why are you chasing it so much? Just because it might do that. If it didn't have that value, you wouldn't even think twice about adding it to your collection. But the chase is there, and the chase gets really annoying after a while, to be totally honest.
Absolutely. I have a different view on it because there are certain books that are out there that I want. Mm-hmm. I just can't afford them.
Yeah.
And so I do buy books that I know are going to hold their value as much as possible because what I'm doing is building up enough equity so that I can trade or sell to get the cash to buy that Fantastic Four #5 first appearance of Doctor Doom, right? I mean, that's an expensive book I can never afford with my own just cash putting out. But there are some books that have grown in value that I can definitely sell, and there's some that I have that I'm trying to accumulate so that I can build up to buy those books because those are the ones I want in my collection. Other than that, I really don't care about the investment aspect. I'm not looking to make money off of this. But that's the only reason why I do collect to try to make money off of it is only to try to upgrade my current collection to the things that I want. And my list of grails is pretty short, actually, but other than that, absolutely, I'm with him. I enjoy comics. I love comics so much. I mean, whether I get them in a trade paperback or the floppies, or I just love the stories. I love the artwork, and especially the artwork. I mean, I'll always buy the variant covers, the stuff that I love, not because it's going to be growing up in price.
So when are you going to start selling these said books, there, Bob?
Well, right now I've been accumulating.
Okay,
right?
he's in the accumulating process.
I am.
Bob accumulates quite a bit.
I do, and I'm trying to find ways to to cut that down.
All right,
but I mean, we'll talk about that after the show.
All right, I got the next one here. This is from Bronze Age Byron, and he says, "Well, it's in the name." There you go. Mm-hmm. But I'm investing in a variety of Bronze Age books right now. There are plenty of books from the era that are keys and are still affordable. You can also easily find these books undervalued at flea markets and dollar bins and on various sites online. Not to mention the quality of the art in and out of the books. Unlike today, where cover art does not always reflect interior pages. So he's a fan of the Bronze Age. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think we are too.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what we grew up in.
Exactly.
The Bronze Age stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's right. You can still find a lot of those books, like in flea markets and in dollar bins and stuff like that. And you'll be surprised if you have the information. You can identify the ones that are worth some money and worth, if you want to buy them cheap and maybe sell them to make some money.
Right.
You just have to have the knowledge about the book because there's plenty of them out there. I like what he said about the covers and the artwork and stuff because he's kind of right. There's and I think not all of them, but really you'll get some really wonderful looking covers, and then you'll open the page and be like, what is going on in here?
Right.
And I've noticed that in a few Marvel books, and I was like, what is this? It's like, this is like stuff I drew in high school.
Right.
And then I actually made a mention just earlier about DC books, and the artwork inside their books are really good right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the covers aren't, like the regular covers aren't that great, but the B covers usually are pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
But the interior artwork is awesome. The interior artwork of Batman is really good. Interior artwork of Deceased. Interior artwork of, what was the other one? The Flash.
The Flash.
Looks really good, and I'd say as far as interior artwork go, and I know we're kind of off topic about investing, but DC's doing some really nice looking inside books in comparison to Marvel, where there's a handful of really nice interiors, but there's also big, huge chunk that you open the book like, man, this is awful.
Right.
You know, this is really bad. You know.
Let's be honest, Marvel's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, even in the 60s, they would dress up a cover and the story would have nothing to do with the cover, and the artwork inside of it was subpar.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, they've been doing that for years, and it's just a selling tool. I think it is anyway. But, you know, really when it comes down to it, you can still find a lot of these Bronze Age comics out there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can identify a handful of grails that are from the Bronze Age that everybody wants.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we all know this, you know, Punisher 120, Spider-Man 129, first appearance of Punisher, and, you know, first appearance of Wolverine, and X-Men, you know, giant size. I mean, these are the grails from the Bronze Age, but there are a lot of minor keys inside of there that you can invest in for really cheap, because you can find them out there and they're worth a really nice dollar on it.
Yeah, there are a lot of keys out there. I remember when I did the Power Man Iron Fist Just the Keys video, and there's all these characters I'd never heard of.
Yeah,
and they're in there. You know, I mean, they're nothing like super special.
No,
but there's so many characters that are introduced all the time. Whether they ever come to be something down the road, you never know.
Right.
But it's easy to identify them.
Absolutely.
And once you can identify them, you can have them, and then, you know, maybe they are something down the road, and you got something in that book that's worth some money. Because the thing I like about Bronze Age books, usually when you find them, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, here's a Bronze Age. It's a whole run of something, you know. It's like, oh, there we go. You know, it's like perfect. You go through, and so none of them are bagged and boarded. They're just sitting there and whatnot, you know, in the flea market and stuff. And, you know, it's like, oh, I remember seeing this one on the shelf.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this Avengers on the shelf at the grocery store. And so I enjoy the Bronze Age books. The smell of them, they have a certain smell.
They do have a certain smell.
I mean, they're like the newspaper type thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Pretty cool books.
I miss them. I miss them.
I do too. I have the next one as well. This one is from Omega Black 5. This is going to sound cheesy, but the best books to invest in are the comics you actually want. Because at the end of the day, comics are just paper, and what is the value today might not be the value tomorrow. Comic Tom has said that recently. Bueller has proved that. I think he's referring to those videos.
I think he is too.
Invest in the ones you want. I mean, is what it should be. You know, I hear the phrases, collect what you like, or whatever it is. Invest in what you want. You know, invest in the ones you're okay with. Invest in books you're okay with if they don't go up in price.
Yeah.
You know, if they go up in price, great. But if they don't go up in price, then you're okay with it.
Absolutely.
Because you still like those books either way.
For sure.
And if you invest in a book that you, like I said before, if you're investing in a book that you have no attachment to, or it doesn't mean nothing to you, and it doesn't go up in price, like, man, I got this crappy book in my collection.
Right.
You know, nobody wants crappy books in their collection, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you know, I kind of feel sorry for the people that collect comic books just for the investment value and have never actually got into them.
Yeah.
Because there are a number of comics inside of my collection that I prize highly because of the time that I read them. What I was going through at the time, the escape that it afforded me, the absolute magic that I felt at reading that story. Like, case in point, Iron Man number 150. What do they call it? Doom Quest, where Dr. Doom and Iron Man go back to Camelot. When I read that story, it was magic to me. That'll never be worth, you know, a whole hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Never will it ever be, unless they
not in our lifetime.
Exactly. But to me, it is absolutely one of my favorite comic books of all time, and I treasure it inside of my collection. Yeah. And so I feel bad for some of the guys that just invest money-wise because they're missing out on what they could be collecting, which is what means something to them.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right. I think you should definitely, like I said, invest in the comics that you would want in your collection, whether they're worth money or not. And if they end up being worth money down the road or worth money right now, that's the icing on the cake.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, Bob, you are up next.
All right, so this one comes from Lost Comic Junkie. He said, anything written by Donny Cates is fire, the polar opposite of Rob Liefeld. Did he actually just say that? So invest in Donny books. Future Gen as well. Miles Morales, Gwen, Silk, and Ironheart will be the big future Marvel arcs. Strange Academy looks to head in that direction too. Well, it looks like he's dealing only with Marvel books here.
Yeah, and obviously modern books.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, because how How do you feel about modern books? Do you think they're good investments? Do you think ones that are written by Donny Cates are just like the characters that he mentions that are somewhat newer characters? Do you think that some of those people have legs? I think obviously with the recent thing about Miles Morales, I think that's a great character in general. I don't know too much about Miles Morales myself, but I just besides seeing that movie that he was in, that's really my introduction to Miles Morales. And I thought he was a really cool character, so I could see that one. But the other ones that he mentioned, and just like Donny Cates being the writer, modern books, newer books within the last few years, do you think that those are good investments right now?
I right now they are.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you can't refute the Fallout number 4, first appearance of Miles Morales. That jumped from a $400 book to a $1,500 book just in the last, month. And predominantly because of the announcement that he's going to be the main character in the video game of the PS4 or PS5 when it comes out.
I'll just tell you, that's ridiculous. I'll just say it. The fact that that's the reason is because he's like a character in the video game. It triples in price. That's just stupid. Okay, next.
Well, there are some people that are saying that book is an anomaly for modern age books, and I don't know if I agree with that yet, because I still think that there's a huge amount of copies of them out there, and we'll see if it holds its value as time goes on. I think that if you're into collecting comics, especially if you're looking for first appearances, in books that are hot. You're always going to look at your Batman books. You're always going to look at your Spider-Man books. And so what's happening in Batman right now? Everybody's crazy over Punchline. And anything that Spider-Man introduces, Silk, Spider-Gwen, and Miles Morales, these are all new characters that people want to get in on that first appearance of. And so everybody goes out and collects the first appearance, which makes the book scarce out there, which starts to drive up price. Will it hold its value?
Yeah.
Time will tell. Right? Some of these Silver Age books that are out there that have held their value, they've held their value for a certain reason, and that's because they were good, they had legs upon them from way back when, and they still have legs on them now.
Yeah.
We're just finding out that these books are hot in the last couple of years. Will they have legs? It's going to be time that tells, because I have a feeling that if Donny Cates gets through with his run on Venom and Null doesn't turn out to be the big event that we think it is and it becomes anticlimactic, watch and see how many people start selling those books.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can take a modern age book and say that will hold its value like some of the older books. At this point, I don't think we have enough information to say that they will.
Yeah. I don't. If somebody were to ask me what to invest in right now, modern age books would not be on the top of my list.
Yeah.
To tell them what to invest in, it wouldn't be in the top 5.
Right.
It's like, hey, out of all these different categories, what should I invest in? Modern age books, current books would not be the thing that would come to my mind first off.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Except I would say, here's some modern age books if you can get them for cover price.
Oh yeah, cover price holding their story.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're going to go out and spend $1,200 to $1,500 on that Miles Morales book, I'd say don't do it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be on my list.
And that's the key. Buy the books at cover price. That's the thing. And one thing about those videos I've been doing, and I was comparing the prices that they were selling for 2 years ago and what they are selling for right now. Okay. And everyone a few people who watched that video is like, oh yeah, if you bought that book back then at that price. Well, I'm not saying that you bought that book at that price back then, because at one time all those books were cover price.
Right.
And whether you bought that book for $5 or $4, and back then it was worth $100, okay, you made some money. 2 years later, right now, and that book's only $50, half what it was 2 years ago, you still made money.
Right.
Okay, you still got quite a bit more than your investment. The thing is, just buy it when it comes out or when it's cheap or whatever. The lowest you can possibly buy it is the best, obviously.
Right.
And hopefully it pays off in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
All right, you're up next as well.
Next one is from Nick's Comics. He says, first appearances of villains, especially someone with a large rogues gallery like Spider-Man or Batman, and get a villain that hasn't been in a film yet, and then when they are announced, the book will spike, and then it will be time to sell. Now, I agree with him when it comes to the villains, because that's what I collect.
Yeah.
First appearances of villains. But I don't know if every single first appearance of a villain is going to spike the way he's talking about. But I agree with the methodology of collecting first appearances of villains.
I like the first appearance of villains. I think that's a good investment in books.
Yeah.
If you flip them right away, and the villains, except for a handful of the major villains, like Doctor Doom and stuff like that,
Sure,
that will always be like books to get. But whenever there's a villain announced for a movie or a TV show that you know they're going to be in, it spikes quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as soon as that TV show or movie has run its course, well, it starts sinking right back down.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily get back down to where it was before. It stays a little bit higher, but it's never going to be at the peak as it is during the movie itself, during the hype. So the best thing to do, and these are easy investments to get in on some of these under-known villains, because they're $5-10, not that much money,
Sure.
And I think I picked up Madam Web, for like $10.
Right.
Then there was all some hubbub about her like 2 months later, and it was selling for like $100.
Yeah.
And I sold it for $100.
There you go.
But so I like the villains aspect. Like I said, besides the bigger ones, the Doctor Dooms, the Doc Octopuses, and the Galactus and stuff like that. The minor villain ones, pretty affordable, and if they are somehow in the movie, they go up quite a bit. I go back to this reference many times. The Iron Man book, the first appearance of Ghost, that was a 50-cent book. That thing spiked when that character was the villain in that Ant-Man movie.
Right.
And it was selling for $20-30.
Right.
Right now, that book is like $2.
Yep, exactly.
But during that small window, that 2-month window, it was at its peak, and I'll tell you what, it's never going to hit that peak again.
Probably not.
Because I don't think they're going to do anything more with that character.
But, when it comes to villains, you're right. Like right now, the hot thing would be Null. In Venom 25, the first appearance of Virus is there. And so, we have some modern books that are coming out that are first appearances of villains.
Yeah.
And you'll see those books are spiking for sure. And, I'll just have to say this, is that most of that type of stuff, the people that ride the waves are the ones that know how to flip books. And if you're not adept at flipping books, I would say don't invest. Because you'll end up losing money.
Yeah. All right, I got the next one. This is from Simon R. It says, best covers to invest in have to be vintage stuff. Golden Age, silver, some bronze, but the old stuff since they were printed in short supply. By the way, am I the only one who is so damn tired of variant covers? Sorry, I just needed to express that. LOL. He's saying that because of all the Snake Eyes variants that were in the video that we asked the question on. There was literally like 40 variant covers for the Snake Eyes Rob Liefeld book. Yeah. And then there was another 30 variants for Venom 26.
Yeah.
And no, you are not the only one who is getting tired of variant covers, But right now, I'm okay with it because we went without comics for like 3 months.
Yeah, for sure.
And so right now, I'm okay with the flood of variants, and it's not happening unless you're Dynamite. Mm-hmm. Because Dynamite, and I don't put all of Dynamite variants on my video because they...
So you can't.
Well, yeah, exactly. But... they literally do 30 to 40 variants for every book that they do. Like issue number 4 of Army of Darkness, 40 variants.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? There's nothing special.
Nope.
So, Dynamite's the worst, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a ton of variants. But back to what he was saying about the short supply of those books. Mm-hmm. There's a short supply of new books now. The print runs are very low.
Compared to what they have been, yes.
Yes, compared to what even they're really low. The modern books are not printed a lot. There is not a lot of copies of books out there. And even if you go back to some, Golden Age stuff, Bronze Age stuff, Superman or Action Comics #1 had 1 million copies.
Yeah.
1 million copies of Action Comics #1.
Right.
When's the last time 1 million copies sold of a book?
90s?
In the 90s? Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long while.
So there was a lot of stuff. Obviously, I'm just using that as a reference. A lot of things have happened. A lot of those have been destroyed, and there's not very much left.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, back in the day, there was a lot of books being printed because there was a lot less comic shops, and there was a lot more supermarkets, and there was a lot more drugstores that had them in every single town across America, across the world.
And most people treated them like they do modern-day newspapers. You read them, you throw them out.
Yeah.
Right? And so, the collectability of them is that much higher because they're more scarce. But you're right. I mean, I think if a modern age book crests that 20,000 issue mark, that's doing good.
Yeah.
Which I think is just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I always like to point that out. The newer books, there's not a lot of print. There's not too many copies out there.
Yeah.
And honestly, for the copies that are out there, a majority of them, people are buying them right away.
Right away.
They're gone. And if they got any hype whatsoever, I mean anything whatsoever, first appearance of a question mark in the end of the sentence, gotta get it.
That's a great point.
I don't know. And it's sold out.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta get that question mark.
Yeah, exactly. Next one up is Jesus Raymond. It says first appearances and some variants. Like example, Punchline did pretty good. It got people interested again in Batman. It did exactly that.
Yeah.
It got people interested in Batman. I think the combination of having a new writer on Batman, James Tynion, and then obviously with the Punchline character, and DC did a pretty good job marketing that character.
Yeah.
And, this is what we're going to do. This is going to be the first cover. We're going to do all this, and third and fourth prints of all these other ones and stuff, Honestly, out of that whole batch that they did, because there's like 3 or 4 books revolving around the Punchline.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Hell Arisen one.
Yeah.
Is my opinion. It's going to be the one that's going to have any long-term value.
Yeah.
I'm not a big, first cover appearance. I think that Ratio one is a bad investment, to be honest. I think it's what it's worth now is what it'll be worth 2 years from now.
Probably.
And because I can't think of too many things like first cover appearance go up a lot in value. Yeah, they're cool to have and stuff like that, but they don't go up a lot.
They don't hold their value a lot either.
Exactly. But I think that Hell Risen one, the number 3, I think
Number
it was.
3. Mm-hmm.
That's the one that's under the radar. There wasn't very many copies of that one at all.
No, not a lot of people buying it because it wasn't a mainstream Batman book.
Yeah, and whether they want to say it's her first appearance or not, she's on like literally 4 different panels.
Yeah.
In that book. Not 1, not 2. She's on 4. She says stuff, clear thing. That's her first appearance. That's her first. I don't know if CGC has any of those graded, but I'm pretty sure if it would say on there CGC first appearance would be on the label. I don't know. I've never seen them. But I think that one's going to hold up. But that one did a good job doing the sparking the fire on the Batman title.
Yeah, I think it's rare that companies, key in on what's actually going to be hot. A lot of times they think it's going to be hot, and 9 times out of 10 they find something everybody gravitates towards, and they're like, "Wow, where did this come from?"
Yeah.
And they find that they've lost money on it because they could have been promoting it.
Yeah.
And in this particular one, they kind of knew what Tynion was going to do. They knew from the very beginning the hype that they were going to put into it. They advertised perfectly on it, and I think DC is riding the wave, as a company should, to capitalize on something that's new and hot. Of course, we want it to be scarce so that we can say we got in on it. But truthfully, this has been amazing.
Yeah, as far as that Punchline character having legs down the road, I really don't know.
We'll see.
That's another time will tell whether they use her or not. Or I think she's the thing is she will have to garner popularity in mainstream.
Right.
And if she can do that, if this character can do it like the Harley Quinn did, and it's like, oh, you go to a Comic-Con and 90% of the girls are dressed up like Harley Quinn that are doing cosplay.
Right.
It's like, oh, you like Harley Quinn? Yeah, you ever read the book? What? She got a book? But I don't know. But we'll see. If she crosses over to the mainstream and people enjoy the character, I don't know if they can do that organically or, we'll just have to wait and see.
We'll just have to wait and see.
I think, honestly, like somebody asked me one time, what was the best book over the last year that's probably going to have any value down the road? And I was like, well, probably that one. That's the only one I can honestly say within the last year or so. Within the last 12 months, Hell Arisen number 3, Punchline, would probably be the only one I could really recommend saying that one is going to be worth some money down the road.
Interesting. I thought you would have said Something is Killing the Children, since it looks like it's going to be optioned at Netflix.
Well, that's besides the option stuff, and the option stuff is great, but like I said, I love the option things. The hype is really big, and then it kind of dies down after that. Kind of.
But we know how good that book is.
Yeah, but as far as like, okay, what book as far as first appearance what's a good investment in? And I was like, well, I think that's probably. I had a hard time trying to think of one book.
Yeah, you're right.
So that was kind of it. All right, Bob, you got the last comment.
Sure. Next one comes from Fernando Rulers Gutierrez. He said, so I'm new to comics. I started about 3 months ago. Welcome to the family, buddy. And I've been focusing on getting 1 in 25s. I didn't know there was even a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 100. I'm a collector at heart, so I have to go after those treasures. But I have also enjoyed reading them too, which is unusual because I've never liked reading before. Great comment.
So, Fernando, I want to break this to you. You said you didn't know there was 1 in 50s and 1 in 100s. There's 1 in 250s. There's a 1 in 500s. And there's a 1 in the thousands. Those are the flam fish covers and stuff. So, the ratio variants, I think those are probably some of the worst investments.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do. And the more research I've done on that, the research kind of proved it. And I mean, they're less print, but for one, okay, just take the generic ratio variant. It doesn't have anything to do with like there's a plot twist or a first appearance or whatnot. Okay, they made a ratio variant for Avengers. Okay, 1 in 50 for the next Avenger. There's nothing special about the next Avengers book. Why would you want that cover? Why, besides the fact that it was a 1 in 50, why would you invest in that book? There's nothing significant about it.
No, except for the fact that you hear most of the time that lower print run copies are worth more money because they're more scarce. So that kind of generates a thing of its own. That would be the only thing I would think of.
Yeah. I've found that for the majority of the ratio variants that don't have anything significant, and that's what I really want to point out. Just regular random ratio variants, they go way down in price.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they are back down to cover price a year later.
Yeah.
Unless there is something significant, like the first appearance or something like that. It's a ratio variant of the Punchline or the Batman book, whatever it is. Those ones tend to hold their value a little bit more, but I see a bigger increase in just the regular issue. The regular number, whatever issue it is, okay, of the first appearance. As far as percentage increase, that's where I see the biggest gain.
Yeah.
Like from a $4 book to a $50 book. Okay, that's triple, double, quadruple, all that stuff, all the way up to $50. And then you get a ratio variant, and it was selling for $100 when it came out, but it's significant, and now it's selling for like $250.
Yeah,
that's only 2.5 times more. Okay, so and then like I said, they go down quite a bit.
Yeah.
But the other one, like I said, the regular issue tends to just like the percentage-wise have a less to get involved in it because it's only $4 cover price, and then it pays off more in the long run.
Yeah.
When it's when it has something special about the issue.
For sure.
So I don't recommend. I know that Sean from Here and the Kid, they were all showing they got that 1 in 25 Peach Momoko wind variant. I'm like, how much you pay for that? He's like, oh, I don't know. I go, if you paid more than cover price, you paid too much. And he's like, God dang it, And, and I get it, it's a hot artist right now.
Right.
Right now. But there's always the next hot artist. And when the next person comes along, the other hot artist kind of fades down a little bit.
Exactly. So let me just say this. Fernando, we want to thank you very much for your comment. We're not trying to burst your bubble. Really, what we're trying to do is be informative as we can so that you're informed, as a buyer.
Yeah.
And really what you said here is you go after those treasures. If you treasure them, by all means buy them because that's what it's about, right? But if you're buying them because they say 1 in 25 or 1 in 50 or 1 in 100, what we have found is that they don't hold their value like you think that they would. And so all we're trying to do is just make sure that you're informed as a buyer. Always buy what you love or what you treasure, and you can't go wrong with that because when you have that in your collection, that's what it whatever it means to you is what it's worth.
Yeah, and by all means go after them. Just pay the right amount.
Yeah, pay the right amount. Exactly.
Pay a reasonable amount for the book. Like I said, if it's something that you want in your collection, then there's okay buying it.
Yeah.
But I did that one video with the variants. I don't know, it was Infinity Wars or something like that, and it was like a 1 in 25 or 1 in 50 variant.
Yeah.
And it was
hot at the time.
It was Thanos on it or something like that.
Yeah.
Selling for like $100.
Right.
There's a copy sold for $1.25.
$1.25, right?
And it wasn't like the only one. There was
Right.
there was ones for like $2 and ones for like $3.
I don't think
there was
there
one
was-
for $10. But
I don't think there was any single copy inside of that particular video that actually held their value. All of them were down.
Not in that one. Every one of them were down, and it's unfortunate. That's not what the point of the video.
No, I know that, but
and it just is what it is. I don't know going into those videos what the prices are.
Sure.
And I'm like, when I do look them up, I'm like, oh crap, that's not good. That's not my intention. The one that held its value somewhat similar, and then it's actually gone up a little bit. I think it was the Edge of Spider-Verse.
Right.
The first appearance of the Penny Parker or
Penny
something.
Parker, right.
Yeah, and the variant. I found a couple for the price I stated, and then there was a few other ones that were higher.
Yeah.
And I've looked again since, and they are even higher than that right now. So it's the market, week to week changes.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
The other one we pointed out, the Spider-Man Noir. That thing right now is selling for like $300.
Sure.
And like just last week, you could get it for about $190.
Yeah.
Like what I posted on that video, and now it's $300.
Yeah.
So week to week it goes up. So
Sure.
how those videos are great to do. They're only relevant for a very short period of time.
Sure.
And but they're fun to put together. So,
Absolutely.
there you
I
go.
think the best thing that you said, Fernando, is that you're reading comics. And
Yeah.
for us, that right there, that fills our hearts with goodness, because if there's anything that we want for anybody is to actually be reading the books, because that's where you're going to get the most joy and value out of them.
Yeah.
There you go.
So let me ask you just the question out in general.
Mm-hmm.
If someone came and you said, Bob, I want to make money with comics, what should I invest in? What would you say?
I'd say go for stocks and bonds, because you're not going to do it in comics. And basically, if you want to invest in comics, just invest in what you like, because that's what's going to hold the most value to you. You're not going to make money off the books. I mean, there's some books that I'm buying that I know they're going to hold value, but I plan on selling those books so that I can upgrade in my collection, not because I want to make money off of them, because I want that book in my collection.
Well, if somebody asked me, I would actually give them an answer.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm just going to go back to our very first comment. I really think good investments right now are independent titles, the number one issue.
Right.
It just seems, you never know. I say that because I like the fact that you get a brand new story, you get to read it, you get to see if you like it, and if you like it, you can jump on the title.
Sure.
And then it always has that possibility of being options or picked up, and if it does, it spikes.
Yeah.
And it's literally that simple. You don't have to worry about issue 4 or issue 7 or issue 11. It's always the number. 99% of the time, it's always number 1.
Yeah.
So there you go. Easy choice to do. Go pick out those. Easy one to find. Does it say number 1? Is it an independent book? Are you paying cover price or less? Great. Pick it up. Read the story. If you like it, great. If you don't, just hang on to it, because you never know.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Let's move on, okay?
Let's move on.
Okay, let's go ahead and get to our final 5. I think these were mine. Yep. Okay, you want to go?
Sure thing. And I brought some Spawn covers, because I always love Spawn covers. They're always really nice looking. And so I got issue number 80. And then here's issue number 233.
Were these mine?
Huh?
Did you get these from me?
No.
I don't remember.
This is issue number 70, one of my favorite all-time covers. It's hard to get in that full black cover and keep it nice. Issue number 34, little Violator action going on there. And then issue number 53, and I just love that cover. There you go. There's some Spawn.
Not bad.
My final 5.
I got some Spawn in mine.
I know, you got an amazing one in there.
Okay, so first off, I have God Country number 1. I think this is a variant, or maybe it's a second. I don't know for sure. But God Country number 1. And I wanted to tell you the story behind how I got this book and how much I paid for it real quick. So this book, there's an elementary school on Webster Road. Okay, they were having a book fair in the library, and I was driving by down the street, and they had a little sign out there that said book fair. So I go into the book fair, and I'm looking around, and they have all these children's books, and in these children's books there's a little like magazine holder thing, and in there was a stack of comics, and one of those was this one, okay, and another one was there's a book called, I'll just say it, it's the B Word Planet. Okay. That was in there, and these are right next to Clifford the Big Red Dog.
That's classic, man.
This was 10 cents.
What?
It was 10 cents. All the books
dude.
were 10 cents. You know, I bought like a little stack of them. At the time when I bought it, I didn't even know what this was.
Right.
I didn't even know who Donny Cates was at the time because
Yeah.
it was before I kind of got back in the comics. I just, I'll just get them and stuff like that. But anyway, I just wanted to share that.
There you go.
story.
If Bueller, if there's a comic book out there for cheap, this guy will find it.
With the big red dog. I kid you not, man.
At 10 cents.
Yeah.
That just kills me.
Okay, my next one is WWE Attitude. I'm a big wrestling fan. I want to show this. This is number 1, also by Boom Studios.
Steve Austin action on there.
There you go. And then this one, which Bob liked this one as well. He's like, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Spawn Director's Cut number 1. And I got that, like I said, at the Frankenstein swap meet for $1.
Amazing. That's like a $30 book.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. It's I liked it because it was shiny, so I bought it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then there's this one right here, Alienated number 1. I think this is the second print or variant. I just wanted to show that because that was Robbie's pick of the week for number 4. Awesome book. And then this one was actually sent to me a while ago from Robert Galvin. This is Forbidden Worlds. I wanted to show some old stuff.
Yeah.
Forbidden Worlds number, I don't even know what number it is. But you know what? It's kind of cool looking. And we're going to finish out on
Golden Age action.
Yeah, is that golden? It's
I
only
think
12
so.
cents. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that what's the Golden Age years?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, Golden Age starts in 1959.
Golden Girls.
Golden Girls. There you go. It starts with the Flash issue number 1.
All right, I believe you.
So.
All right, so that's our final 5, and that's pretty much our show. I want to just say thanks once again to everyone who left a comment for the topic that we talked about this week. That was a lot of fun, kind of discussing that. Looking forward to next week as well. I don't know what the topic will be, but it's always entertaining.
Absolutely.
So, I also want to say once again, go check out Hero and the Kid. Go check out their channel. See if they can't get them to 1,000 by the end of the week. They're almost there. They're within striking distance.
Yeah.
Within single-digit numbers or double-digit numbers right now.
Absolutely.
So they will get there. Like I said before, the Bueller boxes, the independent ones, they're all independent titles that are in there. There's 12 available, and then they'll be probably sold out pretty quick. And then I probably won't have any more Bueller boxes again for another couple weeks because I haven't had any. When I did the last round, they sold out that day, like within 2 hours. And I haven't had any since then. So it's been like 2 weeks. So this will be it probably for maybe for the rest of the month, to be totally honest. Because I just have to buy some more comics.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else that we can think of? Bob, let's kind of give it to you. Bob, how you doing? How's the channel going?
It's going good. I haven't put out my coffee and comics video this week. I threw out my back. I'm being held up with a pencil right now. Hopefully I'll be able to get my books read by tonight, and then I'll finally put my video out on Monday. That's what I'm hoping to do. Other than that, my channel is Everything Comics. We're going to have a roundtable battle draft coming up on the 27th.
Oh, okay.
Really looking forward to that. And then at the end of the month, we have our roundtable going over the comic books, our favorite comic books of the month.
You're doing that as well,
I'm hosting
too.
that one as
Nice,
well.
nice.
And so that's coming up on the channel. Stay tuned for that. I really appreciate all the support, and I really thank you guys.
Very much so. Awesome, man. You know what? That's about it. I want to say thank you once again to all our Patreon members and the new ones who joined this week. I'll just run down their names. Bearded Comic Bro, Jesus, Ramon, and Rickenstein. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support. Goes a long way. You know,
Absolutely.
Pays the bill. I got to get a new washing machine.
Help him get a new washing machine.
I don't know. What are you gonna do? I haven't said anything to you about this, but and this is kind of in the early stages. But we are going to be remodeling the coffee video set.
Oh, are we?
In the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
And I've got some ideas. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I think it's going to look pretty cool. I got to put my woodworking skills to the test once again.
Nice.
And it should be a lot of fun. So
Sweet.
I think you'll like it once it's all said and done. Pretty much you just have to show up like you normally do.
I just love hanging out with you.
Yeah, exactly. Just show up. That's about it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you next time. Bye.